Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the patch notes that are coming with today's patch. It looks absolutely phenomenal, so we're going to go through it very quickly, kind of quickly, so we can just have a look at all the wonderful things that they're doing. And to be fair, I was going to make a video recently about how this game is failing and that it will pretty much be dead within a month if they don't start making some serious changes. And it looks like a lot of the things that I had issues with are kind of being mentioned and maybe dealt with in this patch specifically, but we'll go through it and then maybe in the future I'll make that video. So first and foremost, the new Descendant Ultimate Valby, looking pretty goddamn good if I do say so myself. So we already know about her Transcendent mods, but one of them is Spiral, Tidal Wave. The bouncy Bubble Bullet has been replaced by a projectile that fires in a straight line. So if you don't know, Bubble Bullet basically bounces like this, boing, 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 and the further away you are, the more damage it does. However, if you're on any kind of incline, the bullet will just bounce off in different directions, and that becomes incredibly frustrating. So hopefully this will be able to be similar to that with the same properties at damage at range, but in a straight line like a Hadouken. Spiral Tidal Wave is stackable and can be fired 3 times in a row. Interesting. And it tracks impurities during the Gluttony Intercept battle. And then they've basically released her to be able to fight Gluttony easier, which is a little bit questionable. Hydro Pressure Bomb, instead of plop plop, she leaps forward and deals damage to enemies around in the landing area. The more enemies in the laundry state, the more powerful the damage. So usually her plop plop goes underwater, comes across and pops up out of the water and knocks everyone down. Now it's going to be more like Ajax's jump, where you jump in and hit and do a big splash damage. However, if they're in the laundry state, which is basically just putting water effect onto the enemies, the more damage it will do with the more enemies you have in laundry states. So basically you throw out, you clean up, you get everything wet and ready to go, and then you do this move and you do big damage. I wonder how that's going to affect Void Intercept Bosses, if it will. I hope it does. So added Ultimate Valby amorphous materials. So you know, all the materials, you know, we don't really need to go through that. They're adding amorphous materials for this character. Then we got the new Descendant Luna, looking pretty goddamn good. I don't think it's a surprise that all the women are being released first in this game. Usually Nexon abandon their games after a short period of time. So passive skill Improvisation, using any skill increases inspiration gauge, which allows Luna to use enhanced skills. Active skill 1, Stage Presence, using the skill changes Luna's weapon to her unique weapon, performing the notes in time to the music by using skills or hitting monsters, stacks and increases her skill power modifier. Active skill 2, Passionate Stage, using the skill makes Luna play upbeat music, increasing the skill power modifier of Luna and her allies. Gaining the enhanced effect increases skill power modifier even more, and also increases the skill critical hit rate and damage of allies. So she's going to be a full support player, but also looks like she'll be viable to play alone as well. You know, with a lot of the crit hit rates that a lot of these characters have, she's really going to work really well with them. So, you know, putting her next to a Lepic, even though Lepic already kills things in 6 seconds, you'll probably be able to kill them in 3 seconds now. Active skill 3, Relaxing Act. Using the skill makes Luna play relaxing music. Hitting the enemy with a note grants an effect that instantly recovers the MP of Luna and her allies. This is a very cool move because I often find myself running out of MP. So this here probably will also make bunnies a lot stronger, but it's just going to be an all-round great move. Gaining the enhanced effect increases MP recovery and reduces skill cost. Active skill 4, Delightful Stage. Using the skill makes Luna play delightful music. Hitting the enemy with a note increases inspiration gauge and decreases the skill cooldown of allies. Gaining the enhanced effect increases the inspiration gauge even more and immediately resets the cooldown of allies. So this is going to be really good for Void Intercepts, in my opinion. You know, there's often a damage check, you know, with these things, and then there's mechanics tied to it too. So I feel like if you've got a really good Luna who's, you know, very good at spreading out these attacks and skills and being able to give you MP back and better skill, crit hit rate, etc., you're going to be doing a lot more damage quicker to the Void Intercept bosses. For normal gameplay, I don't think she's really going to be that necessary because nothing really takes that much damage. So, you know, we'll see where she fits into the quote-unquote meta. Modification modules. Nimble Footsteps. This modification module enhances Luna's movement speed and amplifies the effect range of her performance, making it easier to support her allies. Fair. Noise Surge transforms all of Luna's skills to combat skills. Performing the notes in rhythm unleashes a powerful AoE attack when the inspiration gauge is full. summons a moving stage where she dances to recover MP and shield. Now this is where I'm probably going to be going with Luna, you know, a full straight up damage build for her, you know, and just I just feel like that's going to be more my gameplay style. Added all the amorphous materials. We don't really need to look at them. Right, we got a new intercept battle with gluttony, and you get the blueprint and some external components, the blueprints for the new ultimate weapon. And the set basically grants toxin resistance. So doesn't seem that good, to be honest. Peacemaker added new ultimate weapon Peacemaker using a dimension skill grants the single reload for peace effect. And maximum stacks, the single reload for peace effect enables you to fire the loaded ammo in a single quick burst when taking an aimed shot. So basically you're just going to fire all the bullets at the same time. Is that the gun, or is that just literally the gun? It's tiny, it's a little baby. New module, arche concretion, decreases movement speed, firearm attack, and all attribute attack except the non-attribute attack every time a skill is used. But each stack of arche concretion increases defense and MP. So full tank build right here with this new module. Don't think it's going to be used by many people. I think, you know, a lot of people have their tank builds, so it's just a thing they're adding to the game. Added new products. So these are all your skins and stuff like that. You know, you can see all the, I'm not even going to go through all these, but it's basically skins for Luna and for Valby, ultimate Valby. So now we get to the content improvements, and firstly we have to prevent module swapping from becoming a strategy. It is now being prohibited, and changing loadouts. In my opinion, this just wasn't needed unless there was like actual damage to the game servers on their end. This did not need to be changed. Let people change modules, let people play how they want to play. I think this is a huge mistake unless it was damaging to the actual, like, on their end. Just silly. Just leave it, let people play how they want. Now they're pigeonholed into a certain build, which ultimately means that, you know, if they fully build it out with module sockets, then they need to get another version of the same character to have a different build. So just awful decision. Added a feature, collect all lost and found items at once. Absolutely perfect. That's where we're going. I love it. After checking the map with acquired information in the library, closing the map now leaves the library open. I'm not even sure what that means. Don't care. Added camera shake on off features. Incredible, absolutely incredible. PS Xbox added the ability to select preset search keywords to make it easier to search modules and research. I'm so happy for this because god damn, the amount you have to type is just insane and I hate it, so I'm very happy for this. Added commas after every 3 digits in the game menu. Oh, who cares? You can now check key stat information in weapon reactor and external component inventories. That's great, you know, just a nice little update. You can now register equipped items as attached items. You can now so when they're equipped you can attach. Okay, I get it. Saving a preset now automatically registers equipped items as attached items. Okay, I've never used the preset before at all. You can now turn the red dot crosshair, thank god, display on or off in cities in-game options. This little red dot annoys the hell out of me, so I'm happy that I can turn it off when I'm running around in the city. Add an image to some items in graphic options to show what they do. Okay, I guess I'll just have to see that and see what it means. Increase the speed of scrolling when scrolling the map with the game's R stick. Thank god. Change the color of the icons for hard difficulty void intercept battles on the world map to make it easier to distinguish them from normal difficulty battles. That's fine, just a little update for people who, you know, might be colorblind and stuff. The map no longer displays the marker when a quest NPC being tracked disappears. Great. The modification modules for the same Descendant are now displayed together in a row in the library. Yeah, I like that, to be fair. I was trying to think what that means, but yeah, that's great. When the first clear reward and repeat clear reward are the same, the acquisition info in the library no longer shows them both. Okay. When selecting all duplicate modules in dismantle modules, you can now use a filter to register only the selected modules for dismantling. When selecting all duplicate modules in dismantle modules, you can now use a filter to register only the selected modules for dismantling. What? If you're selecting them all to be, if you're selecting all the duplicate modules, why would you then want to filter it? I feel like I'm misreading that. Or it's just not well written. I don't know. A lot of this stuff doesn't really apply to me because I don't care about this kind of stuff. Some of them are really great additions to the game. Simplified the module combining animation. Didn't really think there was anything wrong with it, to be fair. Starting a research in the materials tab of the research menu now returns you to the materials tab. This was actually quite frustrating, so I'm happy about that. Added the leave party button to the social menu to make it, oh god, I'm so happy about this. When I was playing with DPJ and then we needed to go into a solo party to record and stuff, you'd have to go in through like 6 different menus and kick the other person because you couldn't leave party. This, exceptional, all of it. Added a search function to the consumables menu. That menu is an absolute mess, so good stuff. Even when acquiring skins for Descendants not currently in use, the red dot still appears. Oh yeah. Added the red dot when acquiring paints. Isn't this like you have to go into the paint menu to get rid of like the new red dot icon? Isn't that already in the game? So why have they added the red dot? They should be removing it, because that is one of the most frustrating things in this game. I hate it when a game has like new things and I can't find where to get rid of the new icon. Oh god. The red dot now appears in the weapons list side tab 2 when acquiring a weapon skin. That's fine. That's fine. Descendants modules increased the poison contagion range of Freyna's Room Zero Trauma from a 4-meter radius to a 7-meter radius. Oh, they're buffing Freyna, that's pretty good. Increased the maximum scaling range of Valby's skills from 200% to 250%. I wonder why. I wonder why they're buffing Valby right now to get people to buy. Increase the maximum scaling range of Blair's skills to say the same, but with Blair. Change the blizzard generated by VS's Glacial Cloud module to be triggered instantly without delay. More buffs. Change Valby's Albion Academy Cadet head skin to be dyeable. Thank God, because her little orange thing on her head, I couldn't stand it because it was a different color to everything else. So that's I love it. I love it. Change incoming final damage to incoming damage modifier in the description of the safe recovery module. Now, a lot of these ultimate weapons I haven't even bothered farming for, because they just don't seem as viable and as good as the Thunder Cage in general. You know, there's some certain builds where a lot of these weapons will do really good stuff, but they're very specific builds with very specific descendants. So for me, Thunder Cage is all I need. So now that they're buffing them, it might be something to look into. So Enduring Legacy's crit hit damage from 1.7 to 2.3. Big increase in damage. Critical hit rate from 35 to 50%, and critical hit damage from 1.85 to 2.25 on the Secret Garden. You know, actually, I think I'm currently researching that, so I'm excited to see, you know, what that does now. Increased Nysaistra's Devotion. I hate that word. Critical hit rate from 36% to 45%. Jeez, that's a huge buff. And critical hit damage from 2 to 2.25. See, now this weapon might actually be fully just worth investing into for me personally, so I'm very happy about that. I'm going to probably try and build a good version of that gun. Decrease the trigger rate of bombardment of Greg's Reversed Fate, but it now also triggers when the weapon is fired at unshielded enemies. This is one of the best buffs in the game right now, in my opinion, because this weapon has so much potential, but the fact that it only triggered on the very first hit of a fully shielded enemies, and a lot of the time it didn't even proc, was just pointless. So now that you can use it to just bombard enemies, this is going to be a lot of fun. Equipment can now be dismantled at once with no quantity limit. I don't know what that means. You can dismantle stuff, let's just put it that way. Field. Increase the amount of void shards that can be acquired from special operations by about 7 times. This is a really good change, because when they announced that special operations would drop void shards, I was highly disappointed that we were barely getting any for like a full complete run. So the fact that you get it 7 times more, definitely going to be worth running special operations at least once a day just to get some void shards behind you. But they really need to make this have better gold as well. If they could increase the gold drops dramatically, the void shards dramatically, but make it harder as well to get to the end, special operations would be where I sit all the time, because they are actually quite fun. So, you know, they need to really buff up the gold on that and just make it a little bit more difficult to make it worth, you know, changing and giving you more rewards. So yeah, many players are currently farming materials without spending the fragments at the fusion reactor, so we're considering removing the fragments from the fusion reactor startup altogether. This would make fragments necessary only when reconstructing devices used at the fusion reactor. Oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting, to be fair. That's what they're looking to do, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, cool. At least they're like trying new things and different things, and they're not just waiting around. That's pretty cool. Reduce the distance you're knocked down when hit by a trap. Thank God, the amount of times I've been knocked through like 6 different traps, like bang, 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 because it just pushes you to the next one. Lower the ratio at which the named monster's immunity sphere HP scales with the number of players in infiltration operations, and reduce the duration of immunity. So basically enemies aren't going to absolutely be unstoppable. The Agna Desert, Vespers, Echo Swamp, White Knight Gorge, Hagios and Fortress Fields now have a 100% chance to spawn encrypted vaults at spawn. Holy crap, that is incredible. That is such a good change. That, you know, now we can actually build maps. We can actually build maps of like where the vaults are, because they're always going to be there, or at least have a 100% chance to spawn maybe a certain amount. So you go there, they spawn, you open them, you go somewhere else, you come back and more spawn. You know, very, very excited about that. Very excited. Increase the hitbox size and data collection missions to make it easier to collect data. Yes, I understand that. Yeah, I remember that. Outside environmental sounds are now less audible in the indoor areas in Kingston. Didn't it? I don't even go to Kingston, so I have no idea. Adjusted the distance that monsters spawn in the lab to be closer at 15 meters. I don't even know where this is. Is that a mission? Miscellaneous balance sound levels for shield destruction notification, material research, resort windows. So just basically little changes to audio. Some optimization improvements across the board, which is great. And then some UI UX stuff, which I'm probably not going to go through these because it's basically just like changing stuff that doesn't directly impact the game, just changes like descriptions and words and stuff. So that's just what it is. So yeah, this is an important update. I'm going to link it down below in case you do want to read all this stuff about equipment and all that. Like for me, it's just going to make the video longer when it's something I'm not really interested in. But I do want to include the additional comments here because this is important. So basically they've got drop rate improvement plans. While all of our drop rate systems are operating fairly in the First Descendant, bullshit, we know our Nexon are like. We do understand that some players are struggling with the vagaries of drop rate. What the hell is vagaries? To address this, we're planning to introduce a new system where you can more easily get the item you want after repeating the activity a certain number of times. So basically, duplicate protection. However, Nexon have been caught about this before, where with Maple Story they were basically lying about their drop rates. So for me, until I see this means nothing at all. It means nothing to me at all. Plus, also as well, how the hell do they know what you're trying to get? If you're going for like Ultimate Bunny, how do they know that after a certain number of times that's what you want? Can you mark it in any way? Or is it just the idea of, you know, after a few times of getting the same thing, it might give you something else? This, I think, is just worded in a way where it gets people excited, but it's actually not going to change. There's not going to be much change. I'm very, 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 very skeptical about this, especially with Nexon behind the wheel. So at the moment, taking this with a grain of salt. The First Descendant has various missions and amorphous materials and chance-dependent rewards. We're considering how we can effectively take care of the drop rate issue in such diverse reward system, and we're working to create a farming structure that players will be happy with. We hope to make improvements before long to provide a more rational and satisfying farming experience. Again, this is just words. This is just words. Absolutely just words. Disposing of leftover items. Very excited about this. Next is an update on items that are piling up in your consumables. There is currently no way to dispose blueprints for Descendants and weapons that you've already completed. So there are cases where players are getting multiple copies of blueprints and they're already owned during the farming process. We've been listening to the community, wanted us blah 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 blah. You will be able to dismantle them for byproducts, so basically more materials, and a rotating shop system where you can exchange the byproducts for something of value. We don't know what this of value means, so right now, again, grain of salt, because I've seen games like this say things like this and then they're just pointless. They just become more pointless. Honestly, the only thing that you should be able to do is sell these blueprints or whatever for gold. This is the one thing that people are asking for, is better ways to get gold. That's all you need. You could sell them for cheap. It doesn't have to be expensive. You know, you could sell them for like, I don't know, 10 grand a blueprint. As long as there's just something giving us gold for just general gameplay. That's my opinion anyway. Supporting build diversity. It's a lot of fun for us to see the variety of builds being posted in the community lately. We love seeing you try so many different builds. No one's trying different builds, though. Everyone's trying the same build, because it's either Glay with super unlimited ammo, Lepic with incredible instant kill. You know, that's all there is. There's no other build diversity. It's just it doesn't exist. So unless I'm missing out on something. I don't really watch other YouTubers, but for me, it just seems like there are like 1, 2, maybe 3 different builds, and that's it. We hope for more builds to exist in the First Descendant, and we want an environment where players are free to experiment with different builds. However, we found that it is difficult to take advantage of loadouts after assigning socket types. Thank God. Which goes against our goal of experimenting with different builds freely. As a result, the dev team is planning to provide an environment where completely different builds can be created by assigning each loadout with different socket types. Thank God, this is all I've been asking for since I built out my Valby. I can't do anything with my current Valby anymore because she has too many sockets. Thank God. This is the best thing they've done so far. Finally, some news about balancing. We are seeing a dominance of skill damage focused builds of some Descendants. Yeah, but the majority of Descendants have to rely on guns. So, you know, there's what, 14, 15 Descendants, and only like 3 of them are skill damage focused. You know what I mean? We want the meta builds to change from season to season. We want Descendants and weapons that are effective in new content to be different from those in previous seasons. Of course they do, because you're selling them. Also, we're looking to increase the proportion of firearm-based combat in the endgame. What are you talking about? Literally everything in Void Intercept is just straight up gun firing, unless you have one of these broken overpowered builds. You can't, like, even Glay is all about firearm attack and damage with your guns and stuff. So this to me is just, it's a weird thing to focus on. To be fair, what they should do is, yeah, if you want to bring down people like Lepic, which obviously would be healthy for the game, you need to bring other Descendants way up to meet him. And the firearm stuff right now seems in a good place, in my opinion. So I want Valby, for instance, who I main, to be able to do huge damage to Void Intercept bosses when I put water near them. Doesn't really work that way in the game, and a lot of the times it doesn't even connect to the Void Intercept boss. So I want to see changes specifically for other, you know, Descendants, especially the weaker ones. And people like Eugen, like, completely useless, in my opinion. We can't promise that all Descendants and weapons will be equally balanced at all times, of course. That's just natural to a game. Keep changing effective builds. Okay, fine. As long as they're willing to, like, look at things and make changes, I'm happy. I'm happy. So, yeah, quite a lot of good updates here. And the video that I was going to make talking about, you know, how the game is failing and how it could be dead within a month, I'm going to hold back a little bit now, because this has given me a little bit of hope, because I have addressed and changed a lot of things I certainly had issues with, but a lot of things that people were talking about as well. So pretty cool update. And then, yeah, later on we get Luna, we get Ultimate Valby. I'll be making videos on both of them. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope, you know, if you haven't seen these yet, I'll link them down below and you can go through them on your own. But there's a lot of cool stuff here. So yeah, thank you for watching. I've been easy. Now you guys have been awesome.